This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports. We're delighted to be joined by the main man, the real deal, once again, Dylan Moran. Dylan,
Steve.
I guess I just want to sort of start off by guessing I'm buzzing. Obviously, you have your first fight announced. Your last fight was in November 2021. Everybody's seen the promo video now for Waterford. I'm guessing you see it straight away, the smiles on the face.
Uh,
Finally getting a homecoming fight in Waterford. This is the moment you've been waiting for your whole career.
yeah, definitely taking a lot longer than expected, but it's happening. We're only 7 weeks away, 7 weeks and 3 days, I think. I'm counting them down. But yeah, delighted to be here. An amazing opportunity, one that I'm very grateful for, and one that I've worked very hard for. And yeah, I'm just enjoying the training, enjoying the whole process. I've waited long enough to get here, and now it's happening. So I'm enjoying it, watching it all unfold.
For you yourself, I guess, me and you obviously keep in regular contact, as I probably do with quite a lot of the boxers, but there's obviously been a frustrating time for you over the last year or so with obviously no fights. As I guess that this is this testament to you that for you keeping that positive mindset, you like you've been continually in camps and everything else, you've been training away. Is this a reward for you, the fact that your motivation has got you to this point that you're obviously now getting your reward of your homecoming in Waterford?
Yeah, it's definitely a reward of hard work. You know, Sticking with all them things and overcoming all them things was all because I needed to make Walford happen. It's just something I got in my head years ago, and I became a little bit obsessed with it. And many times I walked away from the gym. Many times I was done with boxing, and the idea of just making Walford happen, it just brought me back to the gym, and pushed me through all the bullshit, so to put it, of boxing, because there is a lot of it. And I've been through it, and it was the idea of a homecoming in Waterford that got me through it. And like I said, it's taken longer than expected. I'm 28 now, but delighted that it's finally happening.
It's I guess we see so much in boxing terms, obviously with COVID and stuff the last few years and stuff as well. There's been a lot of activity for people. When you I guess when you see sort of we've seen it more recently with obviously a lot of fighters that have left the program and sort of the love for it's still there, but they can't keep fighting. Is this sort of time over the last year or so probably realised to you what it's like for boxers at the end of their career when they can't fight, but you want to fight, and obviously, can you see the sort of difference there? And I guess with an activity you can see, or does it just make you hungrier to get back in?
Yeah, well, this is it. I was allowed to box, but I just couldn't get the fights, and that kind of shows you how much you want to fight. Um, just frustrating times. Again, they're all behind me. It's a closed chapter. You know, we're only into this year. It's a fresh start, and I'm starting off with the Irish title at home, so it couldn't be off to a better beginning. I'm training hard, fully focused on it. I've been there a million times in my head over the years, so this is just going to be second nature to me arriving back in Ireland the week of the fight.
And I guess it probably came a bit probably out of the blue. Obviously, I think you and Deco were good mates, aren't you?
Let me say before anything gets taken out of context or all these interviews start going out, I haven't got a bad word to say about Declan Geraghty. And if you asked me to, I probably couldn't if I tried. He's a good guy. His dad is a good man, and I have a lot of time for him. But this is business, and the two of us will show up fit and ready on the 8th of April, and what will be will be.
You know me. Obviously, I'm not one for sort of clickbaiting or sort of trying to start obviously rumblings with fighters. But as we've seen, obviously, even in this year, Jamie Morrissey and Kevin Cronin obviously went to fight, and there was no bad blood needed. There was nothing afterwards. Looks like they're going to have a rematch and stuff as well. You don't need
Yeah,
to sell a fight in bad ways. You can be friends, but you can just have a war.
yeah, definitely. And being honest, I don't think we need to do any of that. I think the fight sells itself. You can see the reaction it got. It's an intriguing fight. People are interested in it. Like I said, and it's out of our character. I think, speaking for both of us. But yeah, obviously there will be a little bit of back and forth. That's just the crack, and emotions will be running high. But on a normal day, no, I've nothing bad to say about that and Garrity.
And I guess I know that Declan's obviously had an interview with Boxing Bants, and he's sort of saying that David and Goliath, he's sort of saying about four weight classes and things like that. Is it sort of, I guess, where you're sort of going to have the wee spins of that? He's making you the favourite, and there's more for you to lose than him. But do you sort of take anything into that, or is it just the fact that
No, if I'm being honest, I would kind of disagree with that. I guarantee Declan weighs heavier than me today. You know, in the same breath, he said he was weight trained at 130 and he beats anyone in the world. Well, you're not weight trained at welterweight. You've got 8 weeks to train. You're only 32. I've been in as an active as you. You know, put the work in. Come to Waterford, and like I said, what will be will be.
It's definitely
I don't
obviously
get
making
this,
a.
I
Oh,
don't
go
get
ahead.
this David Goliath thing at all. Um, there was just a couple of excuses in there. You know what I mean? If Declan Geraghty beats me on the night, I'm not going to say I took him lightly or I thought it was a walk in the park. I'll shake his hand. I was beat by the better man, and I'll go home and deal with it.
And it's not like like Declan Geraghty. I hope he'll not mind me saying. Obviously, he's probably one of the most um, blessed, obviously, amateur we've sort of had. He was a really, really blessed amateur, and it just hasn't worked out for him. Obviously, in professional boxing, I guess sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't. But you're obviously going to expect the very best, Declan Geraghty. Obviously, come April 8th.
Steve, I'm hoping for the best Declan Geraghty there's ever been. Overqualified amateur. Declan is certified when it comes to boxing. I'm not taking him lightly by no means. I grew up watching him. I was a fan. I am a fan. You know, regardless of the couple of knockouts he had, he's always in exciting fights. I've always said for years, Declan Geraghty's got balls. You know what I mean? And he does. Credit to him. And I never really pictured the two of us ending up fighting. It's mad how things work out. But when it was offered, it just got me. There was a couple of other offers on the table, but when that was mentioned, it just got me excited, and I was like, oh, I never even pictured this. Yeah, let's go, let's make this fight.
It's domestic fights. As you well see, obviously, on social media and everything else, the last year. So it's domestic fights that are getting everybody motivated. They're getting fans out the door. With it, fight of the year, obviously Owen O'Neill and Owen Duffy, with Jimmy Morrissey and Kevin Cronin this year. Every fight that's been worth remembering over the last 12 to 18 months has been domestic fights. So
Yeah,
you're on to a winner.
yeah, and I seen in that interview as well. They were like, the guy during the interview was like, "Do you think they studied you? Do you think you're past it?" There was no studying. I was supposed to fight Andy Colquhoun of England for a WBC belt. I got a phone call from Neil Power at 6 o'clock. It's not happening over a disagreement with weight and money. In the same breath, he said Declan Geraghty would take the fight. I goes, "Do you think?" He goes, "I know he would." I said, "Suss it out." He rang me back at 7 o'clock. He said, "Deco will take the fight." I said, "Make the fight." Neil Power said, "Sleep on it. We'll lay out your options in a few days and we'll decide." 8:30 the next morning, I voice noted Neil Power and I said, "Make the fight." He said, "There's no change in your mind, is there?" And I said, "No." The fight was made that day at 1 o'clock. And that's exactly how it played out.
And like the first Irish title fight in be just over 3 years. The last one was February 2020. It seems like about 10 years ago with everything that's
Yeah.
been going on in the world. But obviously fighting for prestigious Irish title as well. It's like what more could you ask for in your return to boxing in Ireland?
Steve, it's literally a dream come true for me. No joke. It means the world. It's everything. My whole life has evolved around this next fight for the last number of years. Running around Europe with a bag on my back, going to some mad part of the world, trying to make what's happening on April 8 happen. And thankfully I'm getting that little bit of a reward, and I think I deserve it. You know what I'm saying? I've been at it now many years. Hasn't been easy. I've given a piece of myself to boxing. You know, and yeah, I'm being rewarded with the Irish title at home. Like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way. Dylan versus Deco. It's just as a ring to it. You can't beat the domestic dust ups, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And what a card, obviously, it looks like it's going to be as well. Obviously, there's a potential, obviously, Graham McCormick and Craig McCarthy going at it. Depends, obviously, how Craig goes this weekend. Rohan
That's a
Dahi,
great fight.
I was going to say Rohan Dahi on the card as well. And obviously, Kate Radunska, he's obviously based in
Mm.
Waterford now, obviously, but boxing in England. It's shaping up to a really, really good card.
Yeah, another dark horse from Waterford is Shane McConnell, former toy boxing champion. I've sparred the guy. This guy is like, he's just a proper dark horse, a killer. People will know his name after the 8th of April. You have Carl Crowley, Tommy Hyde. Very excited to see where his career goes. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a really, really good card, and I'm delighted all the lads get to play a part in it.
I guess it's I know with Shane in particular, he was obviously supposed to make his debut in Scotland last year, but obviously on the day of the fight, the opponent's car broke down and never got it. But I guess through obviously yourself, as you'll know, where you get that setback, he's probably now got a better place to make his debut, in Waterford, and it'll be one that he'll never forget.
Yeah, you can't. Well, I've learned through experiences, you just stop questioning things so much. You look at this show was supposed to happen back 19th of November. It didn't happen for whatever reasons, and I thought, this is the worst thing in the world. Fast forward 3 or 4 months, and it's a complete better fight for me, a better belt on the line, and I'm like, maybe it was meant to be. So yeah, I don't question things too much anymore. Just get on with it, put it behind you. It is what it is, and yeah, that's kind of the best way to deal with it. You can get hung up on these things, and I did for a long time, but I don't anymore. When they happen, it is what it is. How do I fix it?
And obviously, how do you vision sort of the fight? In 7 weeks' time, how do you sort of vision it? Do you see it as sort of being, a close sort of fight, or how do you sort of have you started to visualize how the sort of fight goes yet?
Yeah, look, like I said, I know Deco very well. I've watched him for years. He's a slippery night's work for anybody, even at 32 or whatever. Or never mind the weight classes and all this. He's a slippery night's work for anyone. There's nobody taking him lightly around here. My whole team is aware of it, you know. But Deco also knows. The guy doing the interview again was like looking at box strike and that. Deco knows about Dylan Moran. I've been in his gym many a day. You know what I mean, with Phil Sutcliffe and that. He knows the crack just like I do. And this is a good fight. But I just think Deco's had his time. This is mine. I'm chomping at the bit here. No mileage on the clock. Raring to go. Waterford. He's right. It is all in my favour. But I'm just not going to let it slip. I just can't see myself letting it slip. I believe it's going to be a good fight. Two good boxers in there. It'll be a proper game of chess.
And where do you sort of? I guess it's you never like to look back, look past an opponent and stuff like that. But do you see this as sort of like like a sort of rebirth of Dylan Moran? Obviously, when the Irish title, and then it gives you that boost again. After your inactivity, do you sort of?
Yeah, you win the Irish title, it puts me straight back in the mix. And that's where I need to be. Yeah, I've been ready to fight. I've been inactive for a year and a half. Any day of that year and a half, I was ready to fight. I'd have made weight in a week. There's not many people can say that. And again, I just believe in my hard work. I believe in the discipline that I've shown over the last year and a half. I'm definitely one of the hardest workers in the country. I don't care what anybody says. I live in the gym. Like I said, at any stage of the last year and a half, I could have made weight in a week and I could have jumped in and fought when any phone call came. But, just all external stuff. You know yourself, most of the stories.
Mhm.
If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have known.
I think we've sort of motivated each other. I think over the last year or so. I
Yeah,
guess it's the wee things that sort of people don't see, but it's I guess sometimes it's good to talk to someone, and we always have a good bit of banter and everything else. But
yeah,
it's then we motivation things. Like I've said to you, obviously, you look at people like Paddy McCrory at the start of his career, he couldn't find a bit of luck. Ando Kakachi obviously couldn't have any luck. And there's
no,
always success stories that come from it.
I actually take inspiration from say stories like the likes of Paddy McCrory. One that I love and one that I always reflect on. I picked him up from Manchester Airport many years ago for sparring. He got in the car. The times were tough, no fights. The job wanted him to work more hours. He was thinking about packing it in. And I was like, yo, I'm in the same situation. I was living in the gym over in Manchester, and I always remember thinking like, why do we do it? And Paddy McCrory stuck at it, and rewind 3 or 4 months ago became world champion. And I take great inspiration from that.
And obviously in your own gym as well. Obviously, you have an IBO champion as well. I can't pronounce the name.
Osley.
I'm bad with these names, but that success in the gym for you, I guess, obviously seeing him obviously picking up the title and everything else, that'll obviously add a wee
Yeah,
bit extra to your game as well.
yeah, Osley Iglesias is his name. He's Cuban, and when I first moved to Liechtenstein, he was putting the apartment with me, and I kind of had to look after him. He's little English, I had little Spanish, and today we're best friends. But we again used to drive around Austria, Switzerland, talking about titles and fights that we'd like to have. And 3 or 4 weeks ago, or 3 or 4 months ago, I watched him become world champion, and I just feel like this is my time now, the 8th of April.
It's the same way motivational things, as I said, helping in every way in camp. How do you know how obviously tickets are going? Obviously for the show, you've promised me that the production of the show is going to be amazing. You know,
It's
obviously
going to set back.
Neil Parr obviously does a lot of work. He does a lot of Muay Thai shows and things like that. But you believe that it's just going to be a different level. It's that this show's just going to show Ireland what it's been missing.
Yeah, firstly, credit to Neil Power. He's been a joy to work with. And he isn't doing this show half-arsed. I think people will be leaving gobsmacked. The production is going to be crazy. It is exactly what Irish boxing needs. And, there's a gap in the market, and Neil Power is definitely going to fill it on the 8th of April.
It's definitely another wee thing. I can see that the hairs rising in my arms.
Yeah.
But obviously for you, obviously fighting in Waterford, it's the ideal thing for some people. They've never probably got an opportunity to watch you fight before, and you're probably more fans than you've ever had before.
So, Steve, this is it. So it's important to me to bring it home. Listen, I love being from Waterford City. The people are there is why I'm here talking about what we're talking about. Since they thought of putting on a boxing glove, they've all got behind me. They've come out in numbers for years. And over the years, I've built, good relationships with nearly everyone back there. So it's a place close to my heart. It was always important for me to bring the show home. And just the idea that, like, the kids off the street will be there that night and they'll grow up remembering. Do you remember the nights Moran used to fight in the arena? Like, that to me is priceless. That means more than anything, and that's what I'm chasing. That's where the focus is now. As you grow older, things you wanted years ago, you don't necessarily want today. Priorities change and stuff like that I'm chasing. I believe the 8th of April, I'm going to get it.
It's crazy when you sort of look at the sort of boxing calendars of the next couple of months. Obviously, Jay Quigley is obviously making his return the week before you in the National Stadium. After and he's been out sort of the same sort of time as you. You obviously then your fight on the 8th of April, and then you've Katie Taylor obviously finally having a homecoming fight in well, it definitely 100% now looks like a 3 Arena on the 20th of May. It seems to be that 2023 is going to be the things of exceptional things for Irish boxing.
It looks like it, and it's about time. The last few years have been dull and dreary in terms of boxing. Hence why I've kind of been all over the place again, just trying to make it happen because there was nothing happening at home. But hopefully the run of shows continue and everyone can get the dates that they deserve.
And hopefully that cart's been dangled now from maybe September for Croke Park. I know obviously your good mate Conor McGregor obviously was trying his best to get it done for May, but I think Heineken Cup and everything else just was too much. But I guess having a homecoming is probably, you'll know yourself, is getting there first and foremost is something that we probably never thought was going to happen with Katie, and then we're obviously maybe going to get Croke Park afterwards. So it'll be two blessings sort of in the 1 year.
Yeah, what a run that would be. When Croke, the 3 Arena is going to be great and all that, but Croke Park is going to be isn't it? It's going to be an iconic night. Why is it 80,000 people? Yeah, the hair stands on my neck when you think of it. But and I hope it does happen for Katie. If anyone deserves a homecoming, she does.
Is there anything that's sort of, now you get your homecoming obviously in Waterford in the City Arena? Is there anything then? Is there any big arenas obviously then in Waterford where you can start to dream of the next one?
Well, the plan is obviously look. I'm not looking no further than Declan Garrity, but like I said, I've got great support in Waterford. If I get across the line on the 8th of April, the plan is to keep it in house for the next 2 or 3 anyway. Why go anywhere else? That's the plan. But like I said, I'm not looking past Declan Garrity.
Well, listen, Dylan, obviously, well, thank you very much for your time as always.
No, Steve, thank you. Always a joy, bro, and thanks for having me on.
Obviously, I hope you enjoy the next 5-6 weeks, 6 weeks of camp, and obviously, we'll see you in Fight Week in Waterford.
We sure will. I'm looking forward to it, bro. Catching up.
Just obviously want to let you, obviously, for people that's obviously looking to get tickets, can you obviously let them know, obviously, where they can obviously get tickets? I guess that's the one thing we forgot about. We have to sell tickets.
Yeah. Ticketstop.ie. It's all online. People have been asking me. I've got no physical tickets. Ticketstop.ie. They're on there. €50, €70. And if anyone has any problem with it, drop me a message and I'll get back to them.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Dylan, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday.
On the ball, pal.
Take care. Thank you. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye.